ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निधि नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, I have taken the topic of glories of Sravanam. Um, this glories of Sravanam, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the 12 cantos. It is mentioned. One is Parishit Maharaja. He heard from Srila Sukadeva Goswami with great eagerness um, from Srimad Bhagavatam, and finally attained the lotus feet of the Lord, that we are reading in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this hearing of Krishna Katha means this hearing about Krishna's divine pastimes, Krishna's wonderful divine qualities, and about the glories of the holy name, and about his beautiful form, etc. Why? No, because Krishna is non-different from all these things. And that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam we are reading that Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmedi paramatmedi bhagavan idi sabjate. So there in that sloka it's mentioned advayam. Advayam means Prabhupada has translated as non-dual substance. Because Krishna, that's why throughout the scriptures, Krishna is called as the absolute truth. He is non-different from all these pastimes, from the holy name, from his divine qualities. He is not different from that. But in the material world, actually, Atma is different from the body. The duality is always there. But for Krishna, everything is made up of the superior energy. That is why he is called the absolute truth. So this Krishna Katha, so he is not belonging to this material world. It is coming from the spiritual world. That's why in Bhagavad Gita also we are reading that Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvaraha. Right? So Divyam is mentioned. Divyam means transcendental. Transcendental. This word Divyam we cannot use for the material affairs because it is transcendental. So Krishna is performing all his pastimes with the help of his internal potency. That we are reading in Bhagavad Gita also. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. So he is performing pastimes with his internal potency. But we are always, the conditioned souls, we are always under the jurisdiction of Krishna's external energy. That's why when we hear about Krishna, actually we are getting purified in our consciousness. So in Naimisaranya also, the sages of Naimisaranya, they renounced everything and just sat down to hear Krishna Katha from Srila Sutta Goswami. So why they did this? Because hearing about Krishna is that much it is important. And this Sravanam, right, actually Srila Prahlad Maharaj also is saying the same thing. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Satyam, Atma Nivedanam. Right? So, the Sravanam, the hearing about Krishna, it is the beginning of the spiritual life. The more we hear about Krishna, then the more our Smaranam, Krishna Smaranam will increase. That is why Srila Prabhupada, he has told all of us that while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 16 rounds, we have to hear the sound vibration nicely. Repeatedly, Prabhupada is saying in his purports that attentive chanting is very important. We should hear the sound vibration. Because when we hear the sound vibration, then only the transcendental sound vibration, it will enter through the ears and purify our heart. So if we don't hear our chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, if we don't hear the sound vibration, then the purification it will not happen. It will take a long time. So in Srimad Bhagavatam also there are several verses glorifying the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. So we will see some of the important slokas from Srimad Bhagavatam through this PPT. So the this first slide actually I will show you now. Through when we hear Krishna Katha, it is actually enabling all of us finally to attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So in this connection, Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 8th chapter, 4th sloka is mentioned, Shrinvadaha Shraddhaya Nityam Grinadascha Swacheshtidam Kalena Nadi Dirgena Bhagavan Vishade Krudi. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts within a short time. So in this sloka, the very important thing is Shraddhaya. Shraddhaya. Srila Prabhupada has translated in the word-to-word meaning, Shraddhaya means earnestness. So we should hear Krishna Katha with great eagerness. That is one point. And Swacheshtidam also is very important. Swachestinam means actually by one's own endeavor. So there actually we are learning Jiva has got a free will. Jiva has got a free will, and by exercising our free will properly, Chestinam means endeavor. By our own endeavor, we should hear Krishna Katha with great eagerness. And Granadasya means accepting these truths to our heart. So when we do, these are all the prerequisites for Lord Bhagavan, for Lord Sri Krishna to appear in our heart. So we have to hear Krishna Katha with great eagerness, and we should accept these matters very seriously with our heart by applying our own free will, by our own endeavor. So when we do this nityam regularly, then within a short time, Bhagavan will appear in our heart. So this is Glories of Sravanam is mentioned in this sloka. The next sloka also 1.8.36. Shrinvandi Gayandi Grinandi Abhikshnasaha Smarandi Nandandi Tavehidam Janaha Tayeva Pasyandi Achurena Davagam Bhavapravaho Paramam Padambujam. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So in this sloka, the Abhikshnasaha, that is very important. This is Srimati Kundi Devi's prayer. This particular sloka is coming. So Abhikshnasaha means continuously. So this Shrinvandi, Gayandi, all these activities, hearing about Krishna, glorifying Krishna, Smarandi, remembering Krishna, all these devotional activities, Jiva has to do continuously. Apikshnasaha. That's important. Okay. Then, Eva certainly. Eva means certainly. So, Srimati Kunti Devi is saying, certainly one will see. Guarantee is there. Pasyanti, one will see the lotus feet of the Lord. The guarantee is there. If anyone does these devotional activities continuously, that's important. Then one important word is Bhava Pravaha. It's very interesting. Bhava Pravaha means force, the current. Normally, the Pravaha, the word we will use for the river force also. The river, when it is flowing very ferociously, then we will use this word Pravaha. So in the same way, that word is used here, Bhava Pravaha. Bhava Pravaha means the current of rebirth, current of birth in that cycle. Repeatedly, the Jiva is undergoing birth, death, old age, disease. The cycle is vicious cycle that is going on. So it is like someone falls in the river, the ferocious river, and he will be dragged by the force of the river. Will be dragged, and he's helpless. The same way, if someone falls in this material existence, he is continuously Maya is dragging him towards a repeated birth and its cycle. That's why it's called Bhava Pravaha. But Uparamam, it is mentioned. Uparama means cessation. So it will be stopped. The powerful, this repetition of birth and death cycle, it will be stopped. Achirena means very soon, very soon. So it's very interesting. So if anyone does these activities continuously, these devotional activities, so Kunti Devi is giving guarantee. Very soon he will see the lotus feet of the Lord, and he will be able to put a full stop for birth and death cycle. So this is mentioned in this sloka. The next sloka also will go, and yes, this is from 1.5.26. The purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. See, becoming Lord's associates, it's not a ordinary thing, right? One can become a permanent associate of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavana by simply hearing Krishna's pastimes. So through these points, we are understanding that by hearing about Krishna, one can attain the lotus feet of the Lord very easily. So next, the topic is actually in the subtopic. I am saying that here it removes anarthas. Hearing about Krishna, it removes our anarthas. How? So what are all the slokas are mentioning about this? So this is the sloka from second canto, second chapter, 37 sloka. Pibandye Bhagavada Atmanassadam Kadamridam Shravanaputeshu Samridam Punandite Vishaya Vidusidatayam Vrajandi Tacharana Saroruhantikam. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. So here, Krishna Katha, it is described as Katamrutam, nectarian message of Lord Krishna. So this is very nice. In this regard, actually, Sri Ramananda Rai, in his Jagannatha Vallabha Nataka, is saying that Krishna Katha is like nectar, and if it does not enter one's ear, the ear is no better than the hole of a damaged conch shell. Right? A conch shell is there. Conch shell's hole also, it looks like a ear hole. But if Krishna Katha is a nectar, a Katamrutam, if it is not entering through the ear hole, then our ear hole is compared to the damaged whole of the conch shell. So he has written like this in the Jagannath Vallabha Nataka. So this is Punandide Vishaya Vidusidasayam. So very nice. The Vishaya Vidusidasayam means the enjoyment tendency, right? The enjoyment tendency. Prabhupada is writing here the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment. See, we are all having this enjoyment tendency. Srila Jagadananda Pandit also, he has written in Prema Vivarta, Krishna Bahirmukahana Bhogavanchakare Nigadastha Mayatare Japadiyakare. See, Bhogavanchakare, because of the enjoyment tendency, actually Jiva is rejecting Krishna, Krishna Bahirmukahana. Then actually Nigadastha Mayatare, the Maya is standing very near to the Jiva and immediately catching the Jiva. As soon as we take this decision, I don't want Krishna. So the Visaya Vidusidasaya means the enjoyment tendency. This is deep rooted. And Punandite, that will be purified. That will be purified by simply hearing Krishna Katha. So it is mentioned Pibandi. Pibandi means drinking. Drinking. So Kathamritam, Krishna Katha is compared to nectar, and when we drink through the ear hole by hearing, then our enjoyment tendency is purified. Because of this enjoyment tendency only, Jiva is continuously undergoing repeated birth and death, but that will be purified by hearing Krishna Katha. And Vrajanditacharana Saroruhantikam, he will attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's a very nice sloka, Srimad Bhagavatam. And the next slide. So this sloka also is, I have categorized under the subcategory of removes anarthas. So this is coming in 1.7.7, Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpatyade pumsaha soka moha bhayabaha. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion and fearfulness. So in this sloka actually it's very nice. The lamentation, illusion and fearfulness, it is compared to fire. Normally, Srila Prabhupada, he spoke in one lecture that the material life means sochati, kankshati, two active principles of material life. The kankshati means desiring apart from Krishna. And sochati means when our desires are not fulfilled, then we will be lamenting. So these two principles are the active principle of material life, sochati and kankshati. So here also the lamentation, illusion, fearfulness is compared to fire. So why it is compared to fire is interesting. Fire, normally when we put anything inside fire, it will burn into ashes. The same way, the lamentation, illusion, fearfulness, it is compared to fire. So when we come under these influences, under the influence of these lamentation, illusion and fearfulness, then our whole existence, it will be contaminated. So that's why actually Sri Kulategarad also in Mukundamala Sutra, he is saying that Vyasana Bhujaga Sandashta Santrana Mantra. Vyasana Bhujaga. So the dealing with the material life, actually, because of the influence of Rajas and Tamas, our consciousness, the whole consciousness is getting polluted. So it is compared to poison, Vyasana. So that fire, actually, it will burn our whole existence, right? But that fire, it will be extinguished at once by simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And more than that, it is not only simply extinguishing this fire of lamentation, illusion, fearfulness. This is only as a lower effect, but the The highest benefit we can get by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhaktir Utpatyade Pumsaha. Utpatyade means sprouting up, manifesting. So love, Bhaktir, love for Krishna, it will manifest for the human being by simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's also very nice sloka. The next sloka actually is Srimad Bhagavatam from 2.4.5. Rajovacha Samichinam Samichinam Vacho Brahman Sarvajnasya Tavanaga Tamo Vishiryare Mahyam Hare Katayadat Katam. Maharaja Parikshit said, O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without material contamination. Therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance. For you are narrating the topics of the law. So Maharaja Parikshit is speaking to Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So here he's saying that the darkness of my ignorance. That's interesting. What is this darkness of ignorance? It is actually ignorance about our identification, ignorance about our original identification. Or we can say the darkness of ignorance means it's a false identification. False identification. That is, we are all, because of the influence of Maya, we are all thinking that I am this body. Uh, so, Janasya Mohoyam, Mamedi, right? Repeatedly is going on. I, me, and mine. I am this body, and this belonging to me. This particular product is my product. This is my house, my property. So this all actually created because of this false identification. So there is a very deep rooted. It's going on. This darkness of ignorance, the false identification. It is going on from time immemorial. We don't know from how long this false identification it is actually traveling with the jiva in every janma, but we don't know. From crores of janmas it's going on. So that will be destroyed. So your speeches are gradually destroyed. So it is this particular sentence actually it is indicating the Sravanam, hearing. Your speeches are gradually destroyed because Maharaja Parikshit is hearing this wonderful Krishna Katha from Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So he's saying gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance. So this is the power of Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha. And in Bhagavad Gita also we are reading that Aham Ajnanajam Tamaha. I'm saying Aham Ajnanajam Tamaha Nashayami Atma Bhavasto Jnana Dibena Bhasvata. Right? Krishna is saying, I will destroy the darkness born of ignorance while being situated in the heart. When Krishna is pleased with anyone's loving devotion service, he will do that. So we already discussed that Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha is not different from Krishna. That's the meaning of absolute truth. So Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is saying, I will destroy the darkness born of ignorance. So that's why a devotee, when he hears Krishna Katha sincerely with great eagerness, so this will happen. Our false identification will be destroyed. So wonderful. This is the wonderful effect of hearing Krishna Katha. The next slide. Tannaha param punyam adam vridartham akyanam adyatpuda yoga nishtam akyati ananda charido papannam parikshidam bhagavadabi ramam. 1.18.17. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaja Parikshit, and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. So it is very nice. Here, Maharaja Parikshit, actually, this is the Naimisaranya sages. They are asking to Srila Sutta Goswami. They are saying that Krishna Katha is purifying. Punyam is mentioned, it's purifying. And it is very dear to the pure devotees. So Krishna Katha is very dear to the pure devotees. So in this connection, we are reading in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam. Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam. So Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Amalam Puranam. So very pure, completely pure, spotless Purana. No defects in Srimad Bhagavatam are there. So that Amalam Puranam, so this spotless Purana, it is actually very dear to the pure devotees. So in this connection, this sloka is also coming in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is supreme. So narrations of the unlimited. Yes, Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited Bhagavan. So now we are reading in Tatvad Vishargo Janadaga Viplavo Yasmin Pradislogam Abaddavadjabi Namani Anandasya Yashon Ankidanyat Pranvandi Gayandi Grunandi Saravada. So Namani Anandasya is mentioned, unlimited. So Krishna's glories are unlimited. Because we are understanding that the definition for Bhagavan, no, he is possessing all these six opulences in unlimited quantities. So everything Krishna is possessing in unlimited quantities. So Krishna's glories are also unlimited. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, very nicely it's mentioned that Ananda Sesha, right, with thousands of hoods, he is glorifying the divine qualities of Krishna. But he is continuously glorifying with all thousands of hoods Krishna's divine qualities, but still he is not able to complete it. Right? This is called unlimited. Krishna's glories are unlimited. And the divine qualities of the Lord are unlimited. So that's why here the Naimisaranya sages, they are with great eagerness, they are asking to Srila Sutta Goswami, please narrate the narrations of the unlimited Bhagavan. And it's purifying. Because previously also we discussed that Krishna Katha, it is not belonging to this material world. It is coming from Goloka. And Krishna actually, Eko Devo Nitya Leela Nurakto, right? Krishna is performing unlimited Leelas. Nitya Leela Nurakto. Eternally he is performing Leelas. That's why we are saying Krishna's another name is Leela Purushottama. He is expert in performing pastimes. So Krishna is performing eternal Leela in Goloka Vrindavana. Eko Devo Nitya Leela Nurakto. But Krishna, in order to attract all the conditioned souls inside this material world, actually Krishna descended in in Dwapara Yuga. And he performed 125 years Leela. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that Krishna is showing that sample Leelas. He's showing sample Leelas inside this material world so that Krishna is attracting. Like this, I am performing unlimited Leelas, eternal Leelas in Goloka Vrindavana. Please, everybody come back to my place. So Krishna is inviting everyone. Right? So it's purifying and supreme. There is no comparison for Krishna Katha. So that is why it is very dear to all the pure devotees. So Sutta here, the Naimisaranya sages, they are asking, please narrate to us. We want to hear. We want to hear the narrations of the unlimited. Okay. So the next slide. Maya varnayato amusya Iswarasyanumodadaha Srinvadaha Shraddaya Nityam Mayayatma Namukyadi. The Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.53. So here, hearing about Krishna Katha, it should be done regularly and with devotion and respect. That's important. So it should be done with devotion and respect. And in the translation, it's mentioned one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. Right? If we hear Krishna Katha with devotion and respect regularly, then this guarantee is given. One is sure, one is sure. A guarantee is given that we will be freed from the clutches of the illusory energy. So that is here also the glories of Sravanam is mentioned in this sloka. Okay, so the next slide. Nasta is a very famous sloka. Nasta prayesh vavatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. 1.2.18. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering up service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Okay, so this is actually here one interesting word is there, abatreshu. Abatreshu means, Prabhupada is translating the word to word meaning as inauspicious. So what is inauspicious for the jiva? It's a question. Jiva actually is a spiritual entity. It's a spiritual entity and is part and parcel of Krishna. So if the jiva possesses anything apart from Krishna in the heart, then it is called inauspicious. Because jiva is a spiritual entity. So he has to keep Krishna alone in the heart. But if we keep saying anything else apart from Krishna, then it is called avatreshu. It is inauspicious for the jiva. Okay? What are all the inauspicious things a conditioned soul is possessing? These 6 vices, kama, krodha, alobha, moha, mada, matsarya. These 6 vices are called avatreshu, inauspicious. So jiva will be struggling. Jiva will be struggling with all these 6 vices. That's why all that is troublesome to the heart is mentioned. Is almost completely destroyed. It will be destroyed, nashta. So it will be completely destroyed. All the anarthas will be destroyed. That is why Srila Rupa Goswami also is saying in the 9 stages of bhakti, saying that bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti. By the strength of bhajana kriya, one can reach the stage of anartha nivritti. Anarthas will be completely destroyed. So the bhajana kriya, it includes Shravanam, hearing about Krishna. So this is one important point in this slide. The next slide, Srinivasa Sokata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Vidyandasto hi abatrani, Vidunodi Sugurat Sadam, 1.2.17. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So it is interesting. In this sloka, actually, Srinvadam, for this, actually, word to word meaning, Prabhupada is translating that one should hear with great eagerness. The same point, actually. One who has, the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages. The hearing, we should hear about Krishna, but with great eagerness, Srinvadam, with great eagerness we should hear. Then only, actually, Krishna will be watching. He is also sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma, how we are hearing about Krishna. Whether we hear with great interest like Parikshit Maharaj heard, with great eagerness. Mechanically also we can hear about Krishna. But the point is, Prabhupada has translated one who has developed the urge to hear his messages. Then the cleanses desire for material enjoyment. It will happen. The desire for material enjoyment, it will be purified from our heart, provided we have to hear with great eagerness. That's important. So that actually, it is very subtle. Jiva has to exercise his free will, and I want to hear about Krishna, because this is the only solution for me to get out of this enjoyment tendency. So Jiva should be convinced. That's why the Grananti is very important. Granandi, accepting these truths with full heart. That's important. So, right, that's why actually we are reading in Bhagavata Purana that Dundukari also heard. Dundukari heard from Gokarna for 7 days. Dundukari heard Bhagavatam from Gokarna, and all the villagers also they also heard the Gokarna's description of Srimad Bhagavatam. But we are reading in Bhagavata Purana, Bhagavata Mahatmya, but Dundukari, he got liberated and went back to Vaikuntha in Goloka Vrindavana, yet in transcendental form. Why the other villagers, they also heard, but why they didn't go to Goloka Vrindavana? The reason is we have to hear with great eagerness. And so Dundukari was in great trouble. He was having this ghostly form. So he was put into great difficulty, cornered, cornered by the Lord. So Dundukari, he was desperate. Somehow or other, I want to be freed from this ghostly form. So with great interest and faith, it's important. With great faith, with 100% faith, yes, Krishna Katha will purify me. I will be delivered permanently from this birth and death cycle. So that faith is important. That is why in Saranagati also, we are reading, Prabhupada is writing in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the preface, the 6 principles of Saranagati. One of the principles is, as per Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is exclusively depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, or believing firmly in the Lord's protection. The faith only is reflected in these two principles. So with great faith we have to hear Krishna Katha. Mechanically if we hear that actually we are also hearing Krishna Katha, but Parikshit Maharaj also heard Krishna Katha without eating, without drinking water, without sleeping, because he was absorbed fully in Krishna Katha. So that is important. Okay, so this is actually cleanses desire for material enjoyment. Means again it is actually conveying the meaning that we will be freed from the enjoyment tendency, and we already discussed that enjoyment tendency is the root cause for our continued material existence. The next slide will go. Ittam sarat pravrishikam rudu hare visrinvado me anusavam yaso amalam Sangirtyamanam munibir mahatmabir bhakti pravrittatma rajastamopaha 1.5.28. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great-souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. So it's a very important point here. When as soon as when the jiva decides that I want to enjoy without Krishna, the decision jiva is taking, misusing his free will, jiva is deciding Krishna Bahirmukahana. I don't want Krishna. I want to enjoy without Krishna. As soon as we take this decision, immediately we are giving opportunity to Maya, and Maya will apply her lower modes, that is Rajas and Tamas. Rajas and Tamas, that is the modes of passion and ignorance. So Maya will apply the lower modes on our consciousness. Then immediately, actually, the Maya has got this potency. That is Prabhupada is writing Avaranatmika Sakti, Prakshepatmika Sakti. Avaranatmika means she will cover by her covering influence, she will cover the eyes of men from the existence of the Supreme Lord. We will not be able to see the existence of the Supreme Lord Krishna because of the Maya's covering potency, Avaranatmika Sakti. Then Prakshepatmika Sakti, through that she will throw all of us into the material whirlpool. So the coverings of the boats of passion and ignorance, it is going on from time immemorial. So what are all the effects of these modes of passion and ignorance? Actually, we will be strongly absorbed in the bodily identification. We will always identify ourselves with the body. This is the effect of these coverings. So, but by hearing Krishna Katha, by hearing Krishna Katha, because here this sloka it is describing about Narada Muni. Narada Muni in his previous Janma, when he was the servant maid's child. So he had the opportunity to hear Krishna Katha from the Bhakti Vedantas. So that in this connection, this sloka is coming. So by hearing Krishna Katha from these Bhakti Vedantas, this child, child's actually the coverings are removed. He himself is saying, Narada Muni is saying this sloka personally to Srila Vyasadeva. So he is saying that my coverings are removed, coverings of modes of passion and ignorance are removed by hearing Krishna Katha. And when our coverings are removed, when these coverings are removed from our consciousness, then what will happen? Our original dormant Krishna consciousness, right? The dormant Krishna consciousness, it is in the backside. And because of the influence of the Rajas and Tamas, the polluted consciousness, it is in the front and it is influencing. And because of that, actually, the false identification, it is actually everywhere it is spreading, right? It is prevalent everywhere. So when when these coverings are removed by hearing Krishna Katha, then what happens? The original dormant Krishna consciousness, very nice, it's interesting. Prabhupada is writing in the Nectar of Devotion, the Jiva has already got a Krishna consciousness. It is already there. The Krishna consciousness, it is a transcendental subject. It cannot be obtained externally from the material product. It's not possible, because Krishna consciousness is a transcendental subject. It is already there with the Jiva. So by doing this Vaidhi Bhakti, that is hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's names, remembering Krishna, by doing this continuously, it is already actually, it is like a child has got the tendency to walk. The innate tendency is already there. But mother is giving some training to the child. By giving some training to the child, that the child's tendency to walk, it is coming out. It is coming out. It's developed. It is already there within the child. In the same way, Jiva has already got Krishna consciousness. But it is now covered by these lower modes, passion and ignorance. But by the suitable process of hearing Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, then this will be kindled, and the dormant Krishna consciousness, it will come out. And the Jiva will experience a transcendental bliss. The next slide will go. Yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat ikshanam, yat vandanam, yat shravanam, yat arhanam, lokasya sadyo vidinodi kalmasham, tasmai subhatra sravase namo namaha. 2.4.15. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrances, audience, prayers, hearing and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all sins of the performer. So, in this sloka, actually, it's mentioned by hearing about Krishna, because it's mentioned audience, prayers, hearing and worship. So, by hearing about Krishna, actually, they will be freed from the effects of all the sins. Right? When the jiva, when he is performing some sinful activity, because of the ignorance, when he is performing some sinful activity in this material world, and immediately the reaction will come. The sinful reactions are coming. It's called the sinful reactions. It will be papa. So for the sinful reactions, the jiva has to suffer, and it is already stored in our consciousness, and it will wait for the time, the right time. When the right time, actually, the sinful reaction will come out, and the jiva will undergo the sufferings. The sinful reactions he will undergo in the form of sufferings. Right? That's called karma, we are saying. And this actually crores of janmas the jiva has performed sinful activities. All those reactions are in the seed form, it is stored inside, waiting for the opportunity. When the right time comes, all these sinful reactions will come out and we will suffer. And how many sinful reactions we are having, we don't know. unlimited sinful reactions are stored. So that's why Lord Brahma is saying in Brahma Samhita, Karmani nirdakati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, simply by performing bhakti. Kintu cha bhakti bhajam, simply by performing bhakti, karmani nirdakati. It will be burnt. Our simple reactions, it will be burnt into ashes. Nirdakati. The word is used, nirdakati. It will be burnt into ashes. So this is the effect of hearing about Krishna. Very wonderful. The next sloka, Pravishtaha Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dunodi Samalam Krishnaha Salilasya Edasarat 2.8.5. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Very interesting here, sometimes in the pond, the muddy water, it will get stagnant. And because of the heavy rains of the autumn season, the whole muddy water, it will be washed away and thoroughly it will be cleansed. Right? So in the same way, because of our association with the material world, and we had accumulated these 6 vices, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, samalam, krishnaha, right? So all these 6 vices are accumulated in our heart from time immemorial. And by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, these anarthas will be destroyed. Cleanses the dust of material association. What is this dust of material association? Because of connection with the matter, with the material world, we had accumulated these 6 vices. So it will be destroyed, it will be cleaned. So a very nice example is given. Acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Right, when the powerful, because of the autumn season, the heavy rain is coming, and because of the heavy rain with great force, all this muddy water, it will be cleaned and washed away thoroughly. The same way, hearing about Krishna, hearing Bhagavatam, it is very powerful. It will cleanse all our material dust from the heart. So wonderful sloka, right? So this is actually from 1.5.26 purport. Srila Prabhupada has written like this: by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead. And as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead, from within, all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleared. Okay, so we already discussed Krishna's pastimes are not different from Krishna. So by hearing about Krishna, actually we are contacting the Lord. We are directly associating with the Lord by hearing Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, because Krishna is non-different from his glories, from his pastimes. So we are directly contacting the personality of Godhead. So in this connection, there is a nice sloka. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are reading that Yahan Krishna, Tahan Nahi, Mayara Adhikara. Right? Wherever there is Krishna, then the Maya, Tahan Nahi, Maya Radhikara. The influence of Maya cannot be there. So if we hear about Krishna, so hearing about Krishna is non-different from Krishna, so we are associating with the Lord. Because Krishna's pastimes are non-different from the Lord, so we are associating with the Lord. So when we associate with the Lord, there cannot be Maya's influence on us in our heart. It's not possible. So that is why it is mentioned all the sins will be destroyed. Right? So Krishna is called Suddham, complete pure. So when Krishna when he is appearing in our heart, then naturally there cannot be the effects of the sins. It is all actually created by Maya only. Because of the influence of Maya only, we are performing sinful activities, and these sinful reactions are stored. So when Krishna appears in our heart, this will be cleared. Simultaneously, Maya cannot be present in our heart when Krishna is appearing in our heart. So this is the point. Next point, such discourses on the transcendental activities of the Lord purify the atmosphere in which such discussions are held. It is purifying both for the questioners and for one who answers the questions. 2.5.9 purport. So this is actually purifying. In Bhagavad Gita, we are reading that Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha machitta matkara prana bodhayanta parasparam. Very nice. The word is parasparam is very interesting. Parasparam means when there are two people and more, then we can use this word parasparam. When only one person is there, then we cannot say parasparam. Minimum two people are required. One person will discuss Krishna Katha, another person will hear. Then immediately this word we can use parasparam. So Kadayantascha mam nityam, when we discuss Krishna Katha like this, one person is asking question, another person is explaining. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tushyanti means satisfaction, ramanti means pleasure, bliss, transcendental bliss. So because the word parasparam is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, both will derive these benefits of satisfaction and transcendental pleasure, both the speaker and the hearer. That is why it's mentioned, it is purifying both for the questioner and for one who answers the question. Both the speaker and the hearer will be purified. They will get satisfaction and transcendental bliss by discussing Krishna Katha. So it will purify the entire atmosphere. Now that is why actually we are reading that Bhavadbir Logamangalam, right? Munaya Sadhu Prishtoham, Bhavadbir Logamangalam. So Srila Sutta Goswami is saying that it is auspicious for the entire world. Discussing Krishna Katha, it is auspicious for the entire world, right? The next point from Prabhupada's purport is, people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. Yeah? So here also Prabhupada is writing that we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam with great interest. With great interest. That point we already discussed. Then our mundane filth means actually all these 6 vices. It's all accumulated from crores of janmas, that will be cleared from our hearts if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam with great interest. And the next slide, actually I am categorizing in the another subcategory, pure and relishable. So in this category, this sloka is coming, Edat Veditum Ichchami Tattvam Tattva Vidam Vara Harer Adbhuta Viryasya Kata Loka Sumangalaha 2.8.2. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord, who possesses wonderful potencies, are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. So here the Parikshit Maharaj is speaking this sloka. So yes, hearing a Krishna Katha, it is auspicious. It's auspicious for the entire world, that we already discussed, Bhavadbir Logamangalam. And Suprasidadi, Yenatma Suprasidadi, it's mentioned in that sloka. Yakrita Krishna Samprashna. Yakrita Krishna Samprashna, Yenatma Suprasidadi. Yenatma, that Atma, Suprasidadi, he will get full satisfaction. Because Krishna Katha, it is auspicious for the entire Jagat. That's why in Bhagavatam, in the 6th canto, it's mentioned, Jagan Mangalam Amhasa. Jagan Mangalam Amhasa. Mangalam means it is auspicious for the entire Jagat. Discussing Krishna Katha, hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, all these devotional activities. Okay, so the next category is superior to hearing about Krishna. It is actually superior to other processes. So this sloka is coming from 2.1.5. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Sotavya Kirtiravyascha Smartavyas Chechadabhayam. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. So in this actually, in this sloka, it's mentioned as one who desires to be free from all miseries. Right? In Bhagavatam also, the first canto we are reading Tapatrayonmulanam. Tapatraya. Tapatraya. Threefold miseries are there, right? Sufferings caused by nature, Adhyatmika klesha, Adi Daivika klesha, Adi Bhaudika klesha. Adhyatmika klesha means sufferings caused by our own body and mind, and Adi Daivika klesha, and it is actually sufferings caused by nature. And Adi Bhaudika klesha, sufferings caused by other living entities. So this is called Tapatraya. So by hearing Krishna Katha, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Tapatraya Unmulanam. These threefold, one will be freed from these threefold miseries. So here also, in this sloka also, it is confirmed. One who desires to be free from all miseries, Chechada Bhayam. And what we should do? We should hear about Krishna, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. That we have to do. Okay? So then we'll be freed from the threefold miseries. The next category is actually hearing about Krishna. It is accepted by the great personalities. Savai Maha Bhagavata Parikshit. Yena Pavar Kakyam Adaprabuddhi Jnanena Vayyasaki Sabdidena Veje Gagendra Dvacha Padamulam 1.18.16. O Sudha Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaja Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of the birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva. Okay, so this is actually by hearing about Krishna, by hearing about the topics of the Lord. What is the effect? One can attain the lotus feet of the Lord. So Vayyasaki means Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So those topics are vibrated by the son of Vyasa. So these topics of the Lord, Krishna Katha, if we hear, then we will attain the lotus feet of the Lord. This is the effect of hearing Krishna Katha. Okay? So the next category is hearing Krishna Katha. It will make us detached from worldliness. So this is from 1.6.36 purport. Srila Prabhupada is writing like this. The result of hearing about the Supreme Lord is detached from worldliness. So much so that even a small boy could receive the death news of his mother, who was only his caretaker, as a blessing of God. So this boy actually is Narada Muni in the previous life, the servant maid's child. So when he heard from Bhaktivedantas all the Krishna Katha, and after that actually we all know that this, the child's mother passed away because of the snake bite. But he was so much attached to this Krishna Katha, and because of that, detachment is already manifested. So this is very nice. Actually, Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha, Janayat Asu Vairagyam, Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. So when we do bhakti towards Lord Krishna, Janayadi Asu Vairagyam, Asu, immediately one will get detachment from the world. Vairagyam. This is the byproduct of performing bhakti. So this boy, child, actually heard from Bhakti Vedantas and developed this detachment from worldliness automatically. And he considered that the death, he received this death news of his mother, considered it as actually Krishna's blessings. Krishna's blessings. And also we are reading in some other sloka in Bhagavatam, Bhakti Pareshan Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra. Right? Viraktir Anyasya. Viraktir Anyatra. Right? That sloka is there in Bhagavatam. So when we perform bhakti, simultaneously this direct experience of the Lord, Pareshanubhava, then Viraktir, detachment from worldliness, then bhakti, love for Krishna. Simultaneously it will manifest. So that sloka also is confirmed by performing bhakti, so one will develop virakti automatically, detachment. So this actually happened to this child by hearing about Krishna. It has happened to him. And the next title is actually hearing about Krishna. It develops love for Krishna. This is from 1.5.27 purport. Such realization of transcendental activities is made possible by many, many years of apprenticeship in the devotional service, but simply attraction of love for the personality of Godhead, as it was developed in Narada Muni, by hearing is highly effective. So, actually, it is what has happened. The child, after when Bhaktivedanta left from that place, he started meditating on the super soul, small child. Then as soon as he started meditating on the super soul, his mind actually it was transformed in transcendental love, and tears were rolling down from his eyes. So this became possible. How actually it is actually a symptom of love, attraction of love for the personality of God, like that Prabhupada has written here. So tears were flowing from his eyes, and mind actually it was transformed into transcendental love. How it was possible? How it became possible for this child? Because he heard from Bhakti Vedanta's this, Krishna Katha. That was the effect. Okay. So next title is hearing about Krishna. It gives satisfaction to the people in general. This transcendental literature is especially prepared by Srila Vyasadeva to give the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord, as instructed by Sri Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva. It's from 2.6.46 purport. So, in this connection, there is one more sloka. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yado bhakti radokshaje agaituki apratighada yayatma suprasidadi. Right? Yayatma suprasidadi. So, suprasidadi, Prabhupada is translating that the jiva will derive complete satisfaction when we hear Krishna Katha. So, that is confirmed in that sloka. So, we will derive full satisfaction when we hear Krishna Katha alone. When we hear more and more material Katha, more and more we will get disturbed. So, we should spend more time in spending for hearing Krishna Katha, then the jiva will derive full satisfaction. That is what actually we are reading. Actually, jiva is searching for the bliss. Anandamayo Bhyasa. Jiva is searching for the bliss. It is the nature of the jiva. But we are searching for the bliss in a wrong place in the material world. That's why we are getting more and more dissatisfaction. But jiva being part and parcel of Krishna, if we hear about Krishna, then jiva will derive that satisfaction, transcendental bliss. Everything will get it. And hearing about Krishna, it grants liberation from the clutches of illusion. It's from 2.8.5 purport. It's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. Devotional service to the Lord with specific attention for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and always is the best recommended method for liberation from the clutches of illusion. Yes, this point we already discussed. Clutches of illusion means actually janasya mohoyam agamamidi. Jiva is tightly trapped in this illusion. Agamamidi. Janasya mohoyam. Janasya means the living beings, the people. Mohoyam, they are bewildered because of this agamamidi, I, me and mine concept. So we are strongly under the grip of this Maya's illusion. But Prabhupada is writing that hearing about Krishna is the best recommended method. One will be freed permanently from this Maya's clutches. The last slide. Hearing about Krishna, it helps one to realize his constitutional relationship with the Lord. It is from 2.8.5 purport. By sincere efforts to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, one realizes his constitutional relationship with the Lord in the transcendental humor of servitude, friendship, parental affection, or conjugal love. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction, Prabhupada has written that there is the term called Swarupa. Prabhupada is writing that every living entity has got a specific relationship with Krishna, and that is called Swarupa. And by sincere hearing about Krishna, by sincerely, if we hear about Krishna, and this Swarupa will be revealed within us, we can revive that Swarupa. We can revive that Swarupa by sincere hearing about Krishna. So that is called Swarupa Siddhi, as per Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita introduction. So normally a pure devotee he is having actually five types of rasas. He is exchanging. The pure devotee is exchanging five types of transcendental loving rasas with Krishna. And they are called actually Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, and Santa Rasa. So these five transcendental loving rasas, the pure devotees are exchanging with Krishna, and this is called a constitutional relationship, and this will be revealed automatically by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam with sincere efforts. So these are all the glories of Sravanam mentioned throughout Bhagavatam that I have summarized through this PPT. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.